Dr. Sarah Chen wiped sweat from her brow as she adjusted the quantum resonance scanner, its holographic display flickering in the dim light of the underground chamber. The air was thick with dust and anticipation, carrying the weight of 3 months of careful excavation. Around her, the international team worked in focused silence, their headlamps cutting through the darkness like stars in a subterranean sky. Dr. Chen, Maria Rodriguez, her lead geophysicist, called from the chamber's eastern section. The scanner's picking up something impossible. These energy readings, they're not matching anything in our database. Sarah rushed over, her boots crunching on the ancient ground. The scanner's display showed energy patterns that danced and shifted like living things, defying every known law of physics. The readings weren't just unusual, they were actively changing, responding to their presence. "It's like it knows we're here," whispered Dr. Amit Patel, their quantum mechanics expert, his voice tinged with awe. "The energy signatures are adjusting to match our scanning frequency." The chamber itself was unlike anything they'd found before in the Atacama. While the desert had yielded countless archaeological treasures over the years, this was different. The walls were composed of a material that seemed to absorb and reflect light simultaneously, creating an effect that made them appear both solid and transparent. Sarah pressed her hand against the surface, and the wall responded with a pulse of soft blue light that spread outward like ripples on a pond. The entire chamber came alive, lines of luminescence tracing patterns across the ceiling and floor, patterns that looked suspiciously like circuit boards. "Everyone, step back," Sarah ordered, her heart racing. She pulled out her specialized quantum tablet, a prototype device designed to analyze exotic energy patterns. As data flooded the screen, her hands began to shake. This isn't just a structure, it's a database, a living, alien database. The team gathered around as Sarah's tablet projected a holographic representation of the data structure. What they saw defied explanation. 3-dimensional equations that solved themselves in real time, theoretical models that made Earth's most advanced scientific concepts look like elementary school arithmetic. But there was something odd about the data. Each theorem, each formula, seemed to end prematurely. It was as if someone had deliberately removed the final steps, leaving tantalizing glimpses of revolutionary concepts without their conclusions. "Look at this," Dr. Patel pointed to a sequence of symbols that kept repeating throughout the database. "These aren't random. They're organized like DNA base pairs, but they're carrying information we can't yet decode." Sarah focused her tablet on the sequence, running it through every decryption algorithm she had. For hours, nothing. Then, just as the team was preparing to call it a day, her tablet chimed. The decoded message was simple but profound. "To those who seek, we offer knowledge. To those who understand, we offer partnership. To those who surpass, we offer the stars." "It's a test," Sarah breathed, her voice barely a whisper. "They left this here for us to find. They want to see what we'll do with it." As if in response to her realization, the chamber's lights pulsed brighter, and new data streams began to flow across the walls. The alien database was awakening fully, revealing itself to humanity for the first time. But even as excitement coursed through the team, Sarah felt a weight settle onto her shoulders. She understood the responsibility they now carried. This wasn't just a scientific discovery, it was a challenge from the stars themselves. Humanity had been given a chance to prove itself, to show that it could not only grasp alien science but perfect it. As she watched her team begin documenting the discovery, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. Somewhere out there, the beings who left this gift were waiting to see what humanity would do with it. And she was determined not to let them down. The first step in humanity's greatest journey hadn't begun with a spaceship or a telescope. It had started here, in a hidden chamber beneath the Earth's driest desert, with a message and a challenge that would change everything. Within hours of Dr. Chen's discovery going public, the Atacama site transformed from a peaceful archaeological dig into a military zone. Chinese drones buzzed overhead while American special forces established a perimeter. Russian and European Union observers arrived in a flurry of diplomatic credentials and barely concealed anxiety. Sarah watched from her makeshift command center as the political circus threatened to overwhelm the scientific significance of their find. But something far more interesting was happening, something the military forces hadn't noticed yet. Her phone wouldn't stop buzzing with messages from colleagues worldwide. Dr. Yuki Tanaka in Tokyo had woken from a dream featuring equations she'd never seen before, only to find they perfectly solved a quantum tunneling problem. Professor Amdin Karo reported similar experiences, complex alien mathematical concepts appearing in his mind during his morning meditation. The pattern became impossible to ignore when Dr. Isabella Santos in Sao Paulo live-streamed herself solving one of the alien database's incomplete theorems, despite never having seen the original data. "It's reaching out to us," Sarah explained during an emergency video conference with leading scientists across the globe. "The database isn't just storing information, it's broadcasting it on a quantum level, interfacing directly with human consciousness." "Preposterous," declared Dr. Heinrich from Berlin, but even as he spoke, his hand was unconsciously sketching advanced alien formulae on his notepad. "This defies all known laws of physics." "Does it?" Sarah challenged, pulling up a visualization of human brain activity patterns mapped against the database's energy signatures. "Or are we finally seeing physics we're only now ready to understand?" The breakthrough came from an unexpected source. Amara Okafor, a 16-year-old student in Lagos, posted a video of herself explaining an alien mathematical concept using her grandmother's traditional storytelling patterns. The video went viral not for its novelty, but because her interpretation made the complex theory understandable to viewers worldwide. Sarah saw her chance. Fighting against time and the increasing military pressure, she launched a radical proposal: the Formation Protocol. Instead of fighting over the database, Earth's scientists would share their insights openly, pooling their resources and unique perspectives to unlock its secrets. "We're not just learning their science," she argued before a hastily assembled UN committee. "We're improving it. Look at Dr. Tanaka's dream equations. They don't just complete the alien theories, they extend them into entirely new territories." To demonstrate, she projected a hologram showing how human scientists had already advanced several alien concepts beyond their original scope. Where the aliens had theoretical frameworks, humanity was already building working prototypes. What they had left as abstract mathematics, Earth scientists were turning into practical applications. The tide turned when Dr. Chen's team successfully demonstrated the first practical application of their improved alien science. Using principles derived from both the database and human intuition, they created a small field of altered spacetime, just large enough to hold a pencil, but profound in its implications. Military leaders watched in stunned silence as the pencil aged 20 years in an instant, then reversed back to its original state. The message was clear. Humanity wasn't just deciphering alien science. We were mastering it at an unprecedented rate. "The choice is simple," Sarah declared to the assembled world leaders. "We can waste time fighting over this discovery, or we can do what humans do best: innovate, collaborate, and exceed every expectation placed upon us." The Formation Protocol passed with unprecedented unanimous support. Within days, research centers worldwide began sharing their insights and discoveries. The alien database's quantum broadcast had created an unexpected side effect: a global network of human minds working in unconscious harmony. As Sarah watched the first unified global research teams assemble, she noticed something in the database's energy patterns that both thrilled and terrified her. The signal wasn't just reaching Earth, it was extending into deep space. Somewhere out there, someone or something was monitoring humanity's progress. And based on the increasing strength of the return signal, they were very, very interested in what they saw. The real test was just beginning. In Bangalore's bustling tech district, an unlikely pair had just changed humanity's understanding of the universe. Prisha Kapoor, a 17-year-old gaming prodigy, sat cross-legged on her bedroom floor beside Dr. Rajesh Menon, a 73-year-old retired music teacher. Between them lay a peculiar arrangement of traditional musical instruments and cutting-edge holographic displays. "Play it again," Prisha urged, her fingers dancing across her quantum interface tablet. Dr. Menon nodded, beginning the ancient raga on his sitar. As the musical patterns filled the room, the holographic display of alien quantum formulas pulsed in perfect synchronization with the melody. 6,000 miles away, Dr. Sarah Chen watched their live stream with growing excitement. The teen and the musician had noticed something everyone else had missed. The alien quantum equations followed patterns nearly identical to classical Indian musical structures. "It's not just similar," Prisha explained, her voice trembling with excitement. "The quantum entanglement patterns the aliens described. They're exactly like the resonance patterns in our ancient music. We're not just translating their science, we're finding it in our own cultural heritage." Dr. Menon demonstrated by playing a complex melodic sequence. As his fingers plucked the strings, the quantum formulas on Prisha's display reorganized themselves, revealing new patterns that had eluded the world's top physicists. Sarah immediately connected them to the Formation Protocol's central hub. Within hours, scientists worldwide were analyzing their discovery, combining musical theory with quantum mechanics in ways never before imagined. The result exceeded everyone's expectations. By translating quantum entanglement theory into musical notation, then back into mathematical formulas, they uncovered principles that the aliens themselves hadn't fully grasped. It wasn't just about the mathematics, it was about understanding the harmony of the universe itself. The first test was modest in scale, but revolutionary in implication. A simple text message, sent through their newly developed quantum harmonic system, arrived at the Pluto observation station with zero delay. No light speed limitations, no quantum uncertainty, just pure, instantaneous communication across the solar system. Celebration erupted across Earth's scientific community. Humanity hadn't just mastered alien quantum communication, they'd perfected it. The alien database had shown them the door, but human creativity and cultural diversity had found a way to step through it and beyond. But as Sarah analyzed the test results, something caught her attention. Hidden in the background of their transmission were echoes, quantum resonances that shouldn't exist. She isolated the patterns, her excitement turning to concern as she realized their implications. "These aren't random anomalies," she explained to her team, pointing to the recurring patterns in the quantum noise. "Something out there is monitoring our transmissions, and based on these signatures, they're not just watching. They're analyzing our improvements to their technology." The quantum echoes were growing stronger, more frequent. Earth's first major breakthrough in alien science had sent ripples through space-time itself, and something was responding. Sarah could feel the weight of unseen eyes upon humanity's achievement. In her private lab, she ran a detailed analysis of the quantum echoes. The pattern suggested not just observation, but evaluation. Whoever had left the database wasn't just waiting to see if humanity could understand their science. They wanted to know if we could transcend it. Just then, Prisha's voice crackled through the quantum comm system. "Dr. Chen, we found something else in the harmonics. The musical patterns, they're not just showing us how to communicate, they're showing us how to listen." Sarah's hands flew across her console, broadening the scope of their quantum receivers. What they heard changed everything. A symphony of quantum signals from deep space, carrying patterns that made their breakthrough look primitive by comparison. The message was clear. Humanity's first step into true alien science hadn't gone unnoticed. They had proven they could master alien technology. Now they had to prove they were ready for what came next. In the quantum static, Sarah could almost hear it coming. The arrival that would challenge humanity in ways they couldn't yet imagine. The first sign was a ripple in space-time that every quantum sensor on Earth detected simultaneously. Dr. Sarah Chen stood in the Formation Protocol's central command center, watching as reality itself seemed to fold inward roughly 500,000 kilometers from Earth. The alien vessel emerged like a mathematical equation taking physical form. It had no visible propulsion, no seams or joints, just smooth, impossibly geometric surfaces that seemed to exist in more dimensions than human eyes could process. The ship appeared to be both there and not there, maintaining multiple quantum states simultaneously. "It's beautiful," breathed Dr. Patel, who had flown in from the Atacama site. "They're not just using quantum mechanics, they are quantum mechanics." Within minutes, every major telescope and sensor array on and around Earth focused on the visitor. The vessel's surface rippled with patterns identical to those found in the database, but far more complex. It was as if the incomplete equations they'd been studying had suddenly appeared in their fully evolved form. The first communication came not through conventional channels, but through the quantum harmonics system Prisha and Dr. Menon had developed. The message materialized simultaneously in every quantum-capable device on Earth. "We are the Arcturus Collective. You have earned the right of conversation." Sarah's team quickly established a stable quantum link. The beam that appeared on their holographic display defied easy description, a shifting form of crystalline structures and energy patterns that somehow conveyed both intelligence and emotion. "Your species was one of thousands selected for our great experiment," the entity explained, its form shifting with each word. "All were given identical databases of incomplete knowledge. Most took centuries to decipher even the basic principles. Some never progressed at all. You have not only mastered these concepts but improved upon them. In less than one of your Earth years." The entity's form pulsed with what seemed like curiosity. "Your quantum harmonic system, for instance. We had theorized such communication was possible, but you achieved it through methods we never considered. Music, of all things. Fascinating." Sarah felt a chill as the entity's attention focused on her. "But now comes the true test. We offer you a challenge, one that has haunted our civilization for 50,000 of your years. Solve it, and you will be welcomed into the galactic community. Fail, and we must ensure your species' advancement goes no further." The quantum displays across Earth lit up with a problem so complex it seemed to warp the very devices displaying it. Sarah's best attempt at understanding it suggested it dealt with the fundamental nature of consciousness, reality, and quantum mechanics all at once. "This is impossible," Dr. Patel muttered, staring at the equations. "The mathematical framework alone would take centuries to." "You have 30 of your Earth days," the entity announced. "This is not merely a scientific problem. It is a test of your species' true potential. We must know if your rapid advancement is matched by wisdom." The image shifted, showing thousands of worlds across the galaxy. "These are the civilizations that failed our challenge. Some tried to use the knowledge they gained to attack us. Others turned it upon themselves in civil wars. All are now contained, their advancement halted for the greater safety of the galaxy." Sarah felt the weight of humanity's future settling on their shoulders. But as she studied the problem, she noticed something. Hidden in its complexity were patterns similar to those they'd found in the original database, patterns that humanity had already begun to understand in ways the aliens hadn't expected. "We accept your challenge," Sarah declared, her voice steady despite her racing heart. "But we'll solve it our way." The entity's form rippled with what might have been amusement. "That, Dr. Chen, is precisely what we're counting on. 30 days. The galaxy is watching." As the transmission ended, Sarah turned to her global team. "Contact every research center, but don't just call the scientists. Get me artists, musicians, philosophers, children. If humanity's going to solve this, we'll need every perspective we can get." The race to save humanity's future had begun. 22 days into the Arcturus Collective's challenge, the Formation Protocol's headquarters had transformed into something that would have given traditional scientists heart attacks. The austere research facility now resembled a bizarre fusion of laboratory, art studio, and kindergarten playground. In one corner, a group of quantum physicists huddled around a 7-year-old girl who was explaining her theory of multidimensional space using a tower of building blocks. Nearby, a renowned painter collaborated with AI specialists. translating quantum fluctuations into explosions of color and shape across holographic canvases. Dr. Sarah Chen walked through the organized chaos, watching as humanity tackled the greatest scientific challenge in known space with what appeared to be a global talent show. "It looks insane, doesn't it?" Dr. Rodriguez commented, falling into step beside her. The Arcturus observers haven't said a word, but their quantum readings show increased activity every time we do something particularly human. Sarah nodded, pausing to watch a team of dancers whose movements mapped out possible solutions to quantum consciousness equations. "We're not just thinking outside the box, we're pretending the box never existed." The breakthrough of the day came from an unexpected source. In the facility's courtyard, a group of children had been allowed to play with quantum-sensitive bubble solution, a seemingly frivolous experiment that had raised eyebrows among the more traditional scientists. Dr. Chen, one of the quantum specialists monitoring the children, burst into the main lab. "You need to see this immediately." Outside, 6-year-old Maya Rodriguez was creating bubbles that shouldn't have been possible. As the iridescent spheres floated upward, they began splitting and recombining in patterns that perfectly mimicked quantum probability waves. More incredibly, the bubbles were maintaining multiple states simultaneously, something that should only happen at the quantum level, not in the macro world. "She's doing it intuitively," Sarah realized, watching the child play. "She's not thinking about quantum mechanics or probability matrices, she's just playing. And somehow that's letting her manipulate quantum fields directly." The Arcturus observers' energy patterns spiked dramatically. For the first time since issuing their challenge, they broke their silence. "This is unprecedented." The crystalline entity appeared in their quantum display. "The child is achieving what our greatest scientists theorized was impossible." "How?" Sarah smiled. "Because no one told her it was impossible. Children don't see barriers between imagination and reality. They don't divide the universe into separate categories of science, art, and play. They just experience." The evidence was mounting. A team of musicians had discovered that playing certain harmonies could stabilize quantum states. Artists were painting probability patterns that computer models confirmed were mathematically perfect. A group of poets had described quantum entanglement more accurately than any scientific paper. "We've been approaching this all wrong," Sarah announced to the global research team. "The Arcturus Collective's challenge isn't just about science, it's about consciousness itself. And human consciousness doesn't work the way they expected." She pulled up a holographic display of human brain activity mapped against alien thought patterns. "Look at this. When they process information, it's linear, logical, precise. When we do it, it's everything at once. We dream, imagine, feel, and think simultaneously." The revelation sparked a new wave of experimentation. Traditional research continued, but now guided by dreams, artistic inspiration, and childlike wonder. The Arcturus observers watched in seemingly stunned silence as humanity approached their greatest scientific mystery, as if it were a cosmic art project. "Your species continues to confound us," the entity commented as they watched Maya create increasingly complex quantum bubble structures. "You apply methods that defy all logical analysis, yet achieve results that surpass our most advanced theories." Sarah watched as one of the quantum bubbles achieved perfect stability, something their most advanced technology had failed to accomplish. Maybe that's because the universe itself isn't purely logical. Maybe understanding it requires a little bit of impossible thinking. The entity's crystalline form shifted in what might have been agreement. "You have 8 days remaining. We await your solution with increasing anticipation." Sarah looked around at her beautiful, chaotic, perfectly human research center. "Trust me," she smiled. "You haven't seen anything yet." Dr. Sarah Chen hadn't slept in 36 hours when the realization hit her. She was watching Maya play with her quantum bubbles again, but this time through a sophisticated consciousness scanner. What she saw changed everything. "Stop all other research," she announced suddenly, her voice carrying across the facility's quantum comm system. "I need every consciousness specialist, quantum physicist, and neurologist online now. Within minutes, the global research team had assembled virtually. Sarah's hands shook slightly as she pulled up the layered scans of Maya's brain activity during her bubble play. Look at her consciousness pattern. Sarah highlighted the complex web of neural activity. Now look at the quantum state of the bubbles she's manipulating. She overlaid the two patterns. They matched perfectly. That's impossible, Dr. Patel breathed. Human consciousness operates at too large a scale to maintain quantum coherence. The decoherence problem. Exactly, Sarah interrupted. That's what every physics textbook says. That's what the Arcturus Collective believes. But what if they're wrong? What if human consciousness isn't too large and warm for quantum effects? What if it's quantum by nature? She quickly pulled up comparative scans from the Arcturus observers and other alien species in their database. The difference was striking. While alien consciousness patterns showed highly organized, linear thought processes, human brains appeared to exist in multiple states simultaneously. We're not just thinking about quantum mechanics, Sarah explained, her excitement building. Our consciousness operates in a quantum state naturally. Dreams, intuition, creativity, they're not flaws in our logical processing. They're manifestations of our quantum consciousness. The evidence mounted as they analyzed more data. Human children, with their highly plastic neural networks, demonstrated the strongest quantum effects, explaining why they could grasp and manipulate quantum principles intuitively. Artists and musicians showed similar patterns during creative work. The Arcturus Collective has been trying to understand the universe through pure logic, Sarah continued. But the universe isn't purely logical. It's quantum. It exists in multiple states simultaneously, just like our consciousness does. The alien observers, who had been silent, suddenly manifested in their quantum display. Their crystalline forms showed signs of agitation. This cannot be correct, the entity stated. Consciousness requires ordered, logical processes. Your species' tendency toward illogical thought patterns was considered a primitive trait. Sarah smiled. Then how do you explain this? She played back footage of Maya's quantum bubbles, overlaid with consciousness scans and quantum field readings. She's not calculating quantum probability functions. She's not solving wave equations. She's playing. And in doing so, she's manipulating quantum fields more effectively than your most advanced technology. The entity's form flickered rapidly, a sign of intense information processing. If this is true, if human consciousness naturally exists in a quantum state, then everything you thought you knew about consciousness, intelligence, and quantum mechanics needs to be reevaluated, Sarah finished. That's why we've been able to improve your science so quickly. We're not just studying quantum mechanics, we're experiencing it. Every time we dream, every time we imagine, every time we create art or music or stories, we're naturally processing quantum information. The revelation sent shockwaves through both human and alien scientific communities. Teams worldwide began re-examining their data through this new lens. Suddenly, the illogical solutions that artists and children had been providing made perfect sense. They were accessing quantum information directly through their consciousness. 3 days remain in your challenge, the entity remarked. Will this discovery lead to your solution? Sarah looked at Maya, still playing with her quantum bubbles, blissfully unaware that she was demonstrating principles that defied alien understanding of physics. No, Sarah replied. This isn't the solution to your challenge. This is just the beginning of understanding why we'll be able to solve it. The real breakthrough is coming, and it's going to change everything. The entity's form swirled with what might have been anticipation. We await your response with great interest, Dr. Chen. Great interest indeed. The solution. With 12 hours remaining in the Arcturus Collective's challenge, the Formation Protocol's headquarters hummed with an energy that seemed to bend reality itself. The solution had come not from a single breakthrough, but from a symphony of human consciousness working in harmony. Maya sat cross-legged in the center of a quantum field chamber, surrounded by holographic displays showing the work of thousands of contributors worldwide. Her quantum bubbles danced in patterns that mirrored the greatest scientific mystery in known space. "It's not about solving the equation," Sarah explained to the assembled observers, both human and alien. "It's about understanding why the equation exists in the first place." She gestured to the massive display where centuries of alien mathematics tried to explain the fundamental paradox of consciousness and reality. "You've been trying to separate the observer from the observed, consciousness from quantum mechanics, but they were never separate to begin with." The evidence unfolded in layers. First came the children's drawings, crayon illustrations that, when analyzed through quantum scanners, perfectly mapped probability distributions that the aliens' most advanced computers couldn't calculate. Then came the musicians, their harmonies describing quantum field interactions more accurately than any mathematical model. "Reality itself operates on principles of structured chaos," Sarah continued, as Maya's bubbles formed impossible geometries. "It's not just mathematical. It's creative, dynamic, alive." The breakthrough manifested in a way no one expected. As Maya played, her quantum bubbles began replicating patterns seen in human dreams, in music, in art, and in the fabric of space-time itself. The supposedly random quantum fluctuations that had puzzled the Arcturus collective for 50,000 years weren't random at all. They were expressions of cosmic creativity. "Your civilization has been trying to solve this mystery using pure logic," Sarah explained, her voice steady despite her exhaustion. "But the mystery itself is bigger than logic. The universe doesn't just operate on mathematical principles, it operates on principles of imagination." The proof came together in a confluence of disciplines that seemed impossible to the alien observers. Children's art predicted quantum behaviors. Musical harmonies stabilized probability fields. Poetry described multi-dimensional space more accurately than advanced sensors. "Consciousness isn't an observer of quantum mechanics," Sarah revealed, as the final pieces fell into place. "It's an active participant in the quantum nature of reality. The universe isn't just a set of equations to be solved. It's a canvas waiting to be painted, a song waiting to be sung, a story waiting to be told." The Arcturus entity's crystalline form pulsed with intense energy as the implications became clear. Humanity hadn't just solved their grand mystery, they had revealed it to be part of a larger pattern that the aliens had never suspected. Maya's final bubble demonstration provided the closing proof. As she played, her consciousness naturally interacting with quantum fields, she created stable structures that the aliens had deemed theoretically impossible. She wasn't fighting against quantum uncertainty, she was dancing with it. "Your species," the entity stated, its form shifting rapidly, "has not merely solved our challenge. You have fundamentally altered our understanding of existence itself." The quantum displays showed the truth in elegant simplicity. The universe wasn't divided into classical and quantum realms. Consciousness wasn't separate from quantum mechanics. Reality itself was a creative act, and human consciousness, with its dreams, its imagination, its ability to exist in multiple states at once, was naturally attuned to this fundamental truth. "We didn't just solve the equation," Sarah concluded, watching Maya's bubbles dance in patterns that rewrote physics. "We showed you why the equation existed. The universe isn't a problem to be solved. It's a reality to be experienced, imagined, and created." The entity's response came in a tone that might have been awe. "In 50,000 years, no species has approached the problem this way. You have not only solved it, you have transcended it." As the challenge timer reached 0, Sarah looked at Maya, still playing with her quantum bubbles, demonstrating principles that would reshape humanity's place in the cosmos. "No," Sarah smiled. "We've only just begun." The Arcturus collected ship hung in Earth orbit, its quantum crystalline structure now resonating in harmony with the patterns of human consciousness. In the month since humanity's solution, the galaxy had transformed in ways no civilization had imagined possible. Dr. Sarah Chen stood before the United Nations, her holographic presentation showing the unprecedented changes spreading across known space. Behind her, Maya played with her quantum bubbles, casually manipulating forces that the galaxy's most advanced civilizations were only beginning to understand. The collective didn't just come to offer us membership in the galactic community, Sarah explained to the assembled leaders. They came to propose something unprecedented, a genuine partnership that would reshape our understanding of the universe itself. The evidence of this transformation was already visible. In research centers across Earth, humans and alien scientists worked together, combining logical precision with creative intuition. The results defied conventional understanding. Look at what we've achieved in just 1 month, Sarah continued, displaying the latest breakthroughs. A team in Tokyo had developed quantum transportation technology by basing it on dance choreography. Australian Aboriginal Dreamtime stories had led to the discovery of new dimensions of space-time. A group of children in Lagos had revolutionized quantum computing by treating it as a musical instrument. The Arcturus entity manifested beside her, its crystalline form now incorporating patterns inspired by human art. Your species has shown us that we were trapped by our own assumptions. We thought consciousness and quantum mechanics were separate domains to be studied. You showed us they are one and the same, and that understanding comes not just from calculation, but from creation. The presentation showed footage from across the galaxy. Alien civilizations that had been stuck in technological stasis for millennia were now advancing rapidly, inspired by humanity's example to embrace their own forms of creativity and intuition. But with this advancement comes responsibility, Sarah emphasized. Our quantum consciousness gives us unique capabilities, but also unique obligations. We're not just observers of the universe. We're active participants in its ongoing creation. The collective had already begun implementing human insights into their technology. Their ships now incorporated artistic elements that enhanced their quantum field manipulation. Their computational systems included components based on musical harmonies. Their scientific methods now embraced intuition alongside logic. Humanity will not be joining the galactic community as students, the entity declared. You will be joining as teachers. Your species' unique perspective, what we once dismissed as primitive emotionalism, has proven to be the key to the universe's deepest mysteries. As if to demonstrate, Maya created a complex quantum structure with her bubbles, a feat that would have required massive machines and endless calculations for other civilizations to achieve. She did it with the natural grace of a child at play. But we're keeping our independence, Sarah added firmly. Earth will remain autonomous, a center of innovation and creativity. We'll share our insights with the galaxy, but we'll do it our way, through art, music, stories, and play, as well as science. The entity's form rippled in agreement. Your methods have proven superior. We do not seek to change them, but to learn from them. The galaxy enters a new age, one where logic and creativity dance together, like your quantum bubbles. Sarah looked out at the assembled leaders, seeing the weight of this moment in their eyes. Humanity hadn't just survived the challenge, they had transformed it, and in doing so, transformed the galaxy's understanding of existence itself. We stand at a threshold, she concluded, not just of technological advancement, but of consciousness itself. We've shown that the universe is more than equations and particles. It's a canvas for consciousness to paint upon, a song for awareness to sing. As she finished speaking, Maya's bubbles formed an impossibly beautiful pattern, one that mirrored the structure of the galaxy itself. In that moment, the truth was clear. Humanity hadn't just mastered alien science. They had shown that science itself was just one part of a greater whole, a universe where consciousness, creativity, and quantum reality danced as one. The next chapter of human history was beginning, and it would be more extraordinary than anyone had imagined.